Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak to you guys today. I really want to thank Alex and all the guys at IMO, Frank, Dennis, Barbara. This is great. Thank you very much. Before I start, I'd like to explain to you why I'm here today. And it started about 1.5 years ago. I woke up one Sunday morning, and my wife likes to sleep in on Sundays, and she wasn't in bed, so I was concerned. I called out her name, and there was no answer. So I walk over to the living room, and there she is sitting on a couch, staring into space. I go, "Good morning, Sue," and she doesn't recognize me. So I go to the refrigerator because I know she's having a low blood sugar attack, and I get some orange juice, and I make her drink it. And then 5 minutes later, she goes, "Where am I? Where am I?" I said, "Sue, you're okay. You're at home. You just had a low blood sugar attack. Everything's fine." Now, I watched my father die from diabetes, one limb at a time. That didn't bother me as much as seeing what happened to my wife, because I'm responsible for her. So I thought, I'm going to do something about this. I've been doing research as a director of engineering for Stanford Research Institute and Marine. I was director for the Space and Marine Technology Group, and I was working on sensors underwater and communications with RF advanced materials. And I said, I'm going to take this on like it's a DARPA project. And that's what I did. I was amazed when I started doing the research. My God, there's over 20 million people in this country that have diabetes. And there's nothing out there that solves the problem. We're using stuff that's like 20 years old. So I did my research, and I found a way to do what we haven't been able to do yet. Basically, use a smartphone and a wristband that has a detector technologies that I developed for the government for classified applications to measure the blood sugar in real time. Like I say, the market is incredible. In the world, there's over 400 million other people that are diabetic, and the numbers are growing. Yeah, there's a lot of competition. If anybody could figure out how to do this, that's going to be the best thing that's ever happened. Nobody out there is doing what we're going to be capable of doing. I put together a team of people I've worked with for decades on super type difficult problems. And Craig Nelson is my manufacturing guru, and he has the capability of doing things from one part to making thousands and millions of parts. So he's going to handle that side of it. My sister actually belongs to this organization, AMIA, and she is a PhD from Duke with a degree in biomedical engineering. She has an MD from University of Florida. She did her residency and got her MPH at Johns Hopkins at the same time. She's board certified in both health data informatics as well as in preventative medicine. So she said to me, "My God, you realize that 1/3 of this country is pre-diabetic?" And I go, "Oh my God, I don't believe that." Yeah, if we could change the behavior of people so they don't become diabetic, that's a big thing, Mark. I'm on this stuff. Let's do it. We have a world-class advisory board. You'll probably notice some of the people on that list are well-respected in your community. And they're helping us to make sure we do it right. I have a great prototype facility with all types of equipment, and then we can do what we have to do to make things in-house really quickly. The whole thing is fully scalable. We're going to use a 3-pronged sales approach, go internet, direct to consumer. We'll work with healthcare organizations and providers and also channel partners. The cost of the device is $30 to manufacture, distribute, and we're going to charge $100 in a subscription model, and basically that will generate a lot of business real fast. We're talking about $1 billion in recurring revenue with only 10% of the market in the United States, and that's in the first year that we go to market. As you can see, we've accomplished all the green arrows are things we've already gotten done. The blue one is the white one is the one that we're working on right now. I'm trying to raise another $250,000 so that we can get this thing done and go to Series A funding, and let's rock and roll and do it.
So the question, what really holds you back? I mean, is there, because we talked about you when looking at the pilots, are you trying to use this money to do the first pilot? And
so if you look over to the slide, what I've been able to accomplish so far is to take a refrigerator size spectrometer, reduce it to a cigarette pack size system that I can strap onto my arm. The next series of money we're going to be using to further shrink it so it becomes a wristband. So what I need is money to do that next, to finish up our data analysis to do what we have to do.
Go ahead. Do you need FDA approval to develop this device, and is that easy to do?
Well, I mean, the precedence has been set. If you look at the slide over there, this is our strategy. It's a 510K process. There was a watch that was put out about 15 years ago. It was called a Pandra. And so we're going to use that precedence. We're going to have a much better device. And that's the approach we're taking. We also hired a consulting company to help us with the FDA process. And we're working with very prestigious preclinical, clinical trial people that are going to do those things for us. I can't talk about it because it's confidential, but I'll be willing to speak under NDA for that information.
Yeah, that's maybe more of an editorial comment. I've been in businesses before that, active ingredients in medications. So on the FDA, don't underestimate, even with your partners, how complicated, and your timeline you have in here probably is a little aggressive.
Yes, but because of the level of inobtrusiveness of this technology, and because of the desperate needs that people have, we believe that we should be able to get to go it. And we're also pivoting right now. We're probably going to come out with a pre-medical device. We're talking to the biggest smartwatch company in the world. They want to license it. They have a platform called Simband that we're going to put something out there. And just like the Nighthawk guys did, they hacked the Dexcom system. So they're saying is we're not going to wait.
Okay, so David, can you pause the time for a sec? So 11:45, we're going to do the data collection for the tweets. So you've got like 3 minutes to, and this is our fifth presenter. So please tweet out with the AMIA 2017 hashtag, which team you like best, or just some comment on that. We're just going to count the tweets. That's just, you guys are one judge in this judging competition. So you can start his timer again and continue.
So one thing I noticed is you have kind of a solution that's both the device and the patient experience improvement, but you also have that communication, which is how to make it more active than just simply checking at that moment.
Right.
So you didn't talk a lot about the communication side, how you're going to make all those interfaces work with, text, smartphones, so on and so forth. So give us a little color there. Okay, so
we're using Bluetooth. It's going to be encrypted to communicate to the smartphone. The smartphone is going to use Watson and also iThread approach, so that we basically will have in the cloud the analytics, the super analytics, and tracking and everything. And on the data side of things, what we're actually doing is generating pictures of individuals' biochemistry, a spectrum of who you are as an individual. And everybody's going to have a different spectrum. And the thing that's really mind-boggling about this is that it could be more than just diabetes that we can start picking up over time. We can start seeing traces of things that are going to go into a disease mode where it becomes obvious the person's got a problem, right? But we can maybe detect these things before they become a problem and really change the way preventative medicine works today. And that's why my sister, Dr. Helges, she's crazy about this.
So are any of the major, you say you're dealing with one of the major players, but, is Apple with their new, the new watch, the kind of things that they're doing in terms of body sensing, the wearables and so forth, are these technologies that are being used by any of these folks? Are you consolidating it all? What's going on?
Yeah, so Apple, for instance, is using dielectric spectroscopy in their approach, but the thing is they don't know what we know in terms of they're using amplitude only, scalar. We use what they call vector-based analytics. So vector-based analytics allows us to do a four-dimensional analysis. This is technology that's developed in the government to look for things underwater that are impossible to see. The data processing, they're using anti-Markovian processes. We can actually pull the needle out of a haystack And that's where they're going down the wrong way, because you have to have vector-based data. It can't be magnitude-only scalar data. It's not going to work.
I think it's a great idea, but I want to know where your IP is. What's your competitive advantage?
Our IP?
You can say 4D, fine, but how come somebody else can't do the same thing?
Well, first of all, some of the stuff we did is based on classified research that most people are not privy to. So that's one side of it. For the analytics, we have a rules engine that's copyrighted, and basically it's going to be like trade secret. The same thing with the dielectric materials. We discovered them by accident when I was the engineer at SRI, Director of Engineering. We discovered technologies to shrink antennas that would be the size of a telephone pole to this size. And that gives us the best broadband ability to collect the data that we want. So the barrier entrances are going to be difficult for other competitors because of those pieces that we have there, and then also because of prior art that we have. And we're doing patents, definitely. We've got several patents already that are out there. And but trade secret is one of the big things that we want to do, because a lot of competition, and I know about Apple and everything. You know why? Because they did the patent searches on what they're doing. They bought 7 companies. But, you have 7 different experts. They're all arguing with each other because they all want to push their own technique. It takes a combination of things to do it right. So,
what do you think your biggest challenge is going to be with your go-to-market strategy, or the biggest risk?
I don't think it's going to be, because I've done internet startups before. I think the internet approach for direct-to-consumer is probably the cheapest way to go at first. Viral marketing, I think it's going to be big. But then teaming with these manufacturers and licensing, they know how to sell. And so we want to get the word out and build it, like a guerrilla marketing type process. But it's definitely going to be a challenge. Before I stop, I'd like to ask, how many of you people are diabetic or know someone that's diabetic? So here's your chance to do something about it.
Second place goes to Alertgy. Your story was definitely, especially about your wife. I mean, my heart went with you.
My wife is a pure German.
Oh,
And I'm a German that was born in Libya.
oh, wow. Wow, beautiful. It's a check for $7,500.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.